Good morning. Good morning for those of you who are on the side. Good part of the day, whatever you are from online. And we are really excited to welcome Rob Haggerty for our morning meditation because we have pretty few questions about Nam Tong, Yota, Metta. So hopefully we will be contemplate on that, but we'll see. Let's welcome. Thank you very much.
Good morning. So, how many people actually have a daily practice? Just raise your hand. The guilt. I'll keep them up for a second. I just want to take a good look. All right, cool. I thought we had an hour, and we only have a half hour, so we'll probably go pretty quick into meditation. So I asked Geshe yesterday what we should meditate. Just wanted to. It's always a good idea to check with your teacher, like when you're about to teach something. No matter what someone tells you, if someone gives you an assignment, I guess, and you should probably check with your teacher also, or first, should I say. So I wanted to confirm with him, and he thought it'd be a really great practice to go through this 16. And I said, well, my subject is, finding a heart teacher. He's like, oh, that's perfect. Yeah, that's great. So, which is number 5, I believe. If you scroll, can you guys see the whole list up there? Oh yeah, there it is. And this is how Jetsun Randawa took himself to holy teachers for study and spiritual development. And let me make sure we have the time. Yeah. And this is how I've spent, as probably most people are in here have done exactly the same, but when I first showed up, the monk who taught me to meditate originally, Venerable Punsak, the first thing he said to me is like, you must find a teacher. He also, if you know Venerable Punsak, his voice sounds like James Earl Jones. So he has this like more Darth Vader-ish like quality to his voice. So he was like, you must find the teacher. It was very like profound and mystical. And I was like, what are you even talking about? I don't have any, I'm as American as can be. I don't have any, I grew up, I was a kid model actually in New York, and they called me the all-American kid. That was like my thing. And so I didn't grow up with any of, directly. I didn't know, nobody was like, this is a Buddhist teaching. So I've spent my whole life just on that, I would say just doing that. And I think it's a worthy way to spend your life, is to find a teacher, and then one is to find them, and then to learn how to serve them. And find is like an interesting word, because as we've all become trained more and more, we understand that we're creating them. And so we become very interested in the 4 steps, essentially, which I think in the DCI system, it's so beautiful, because it's really kind of thrown in your face all the time. I want this, do the 4 steps. I want this, do the 4 steps. There should always be this thing in your mind where you're figuring out what it is that you would like, and then how can I help somebody else do the same? So, so when we go through the meditation, we'll talk about it, but I think you have to keep that in mind. Like, I was wondering how to teach this. How do you teach somebody to create a teacher? And so, but when we first show up, we don't have most of us, if we don't have that training, we're really just looking. We're keeping our eyes open. And last night, we got back to the hotel. So for the last 2 nights at our hotel, there's been weddings till 12:30. And the music starts around, we all go to bed around 10, and I think it starts around 9:45 or something. And it's like, and all we can hear is the bass part. Like, and poor Tim, just have some, be kind to him when he comes to teach after me today, because he was right next to the music. I always felt really bad. But this morning I woke up and I thought, what was the sign for me? Like, what is there, like a Diamond Way version of that? And it was this beautiful partnership that was happening. And yesterday I got to watch the dad talk about his daughter and how proud he was of her. And then last night, the couple, they were like best friends. And they did this, like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Grease, but they did this, he ripped his shirt off and he had like this black tank top. And what struck me was they were friends. And so where I've come to now in serving is that, sometimes we've all become friends a lot. Traveling around the world and with Geshe Michael, there's like this real feeling of like family. And I think that's, if you can sort of somehow keep that feeling of like friendship, like Yelsey and I just checked in with each other and we're always like, I haven't seen you in a while. And so, we have this like connection. And so we can maintain this sort of like feeling of friendship, I think, and love. I think in this pursuit, if that's what you choose to do, I think that's something good to keep inside your heart. So that being said, let's just meditate. So that's why we're here. It's super important in a group to not move at all. Not a single. You can always tell when there's a meditator when you say, be quiet. Someone who doesn't meditate thinks that means keep it down. But we're talking about complete quiet, like do not move at all. And so Geshe forced me to do this in the beginning. I hadn't meditated before, and he said, do not move a single inch at all. And when you get around a bunch of people meditating a while, even the sound of your, when you swallow, becomes super loud. And so try to keep sit up if you can, keep your back straight, put your hands in sort of a nice, comfortable position. I always try to keep my shoulders sort of like before, I'll just give it a little shake to let them do their thing and relax. Keeping the back straight is really important. The way it was taught to me was like there was a stack of gold coins, and that's sort of like your central channel. And then your feet should be on the ground in a nice, comfortable spot. Think wherever you are right now, I'm not going to move from this position. So whatever that is for you, find that. But specifically, keep your back straight. So don't lean back against the chair, because that might cause a little like dullness. And if you lean a little bit too far, you can feel like a little agitation. So you kind of want to be in that sweet spot. I should put my timer on. And then you guys can gently close your eyes. And then we're going to begin by watching our breath. If you can, take your tongue and put it on the top of the roof of your mouth, right behind your front teeth. And that will allow some saliva actually to kind of go down your throat and sort of keep it lubricated, and it'll allow you to meditate a little bit more undisturbed. We're going to try to do what Geshe did, which is about 100 breaths. Anytime your mind wanders off to like the sound outside, just gently bring it back in. As if you're walking a young child, you would kind of like direct them a little bit, or like driving a car. Generally, when I meditate, I do two initial steps that Geshe taught me maybe 30 years ago. But one is like, I always start with my motivation. I just check in, like, why am I meditating? And in this case, it's to find a teacher. And then I think about somebody I want to do the practice for today. So think of somebody in your life that maybe can't meditate or can't be here, or they would like benefit from this, and imagine that you're going to meditate for them today. So bring that person up in your mind who you want to do the practice for today. And the next step is where the actual preliminaries begin. So invite, I always say I invite my heart lama, invite your teacher to come and sit in front of you. If you don't have one, it could be maybe someone you admire. Geshe always talks about his neighbor, Ralph. Somebody maybe you think is kind or you could learn from, or could be a historical figure, somebody from the past, the future. But I always say to myself personally, I invite my heart lama, and then I just personally I get a feeling more than a picture, but you can imagine them sitting right across from you. Each person right now gets one, their own personal one right in front of them. Next step is you make a kind of like a prostration. You think of maybe a quality that they have that you would like to have, or that you admire about them. If it's somebody that you haven't met yet, it's okay to think maybe a quality that they will have. And just sort of appreciate them. That's sort of like a mental prostration. Then make a small offering to them. It could be as simple as maybe like a gift or a flower. When we're in San Diego, I always think of the Pacific Ocean or the beautiful blue sky. imagine giving them some sort of gift or offering. When I'm doing these at home, I try to spend about 10 breaths on each step, so I can kind of keep the meditation moving a little. Next, we want to kind of like bare our heart, kind of confess our negativities or the things that are maybe we're not so proud of. And, this is between you and them and nobody else, so it's a really good time to just sort of kind of bare your soul, I guess, and admit that maybe you haven't been acting so great, and make a little plan to refrain from that, stop doing that thing, and then maybe a little makeup activity. So I generally do a small 4 powers in here, but you could just admit to them, and they say it's a good sign if a tear comes or something. So open yourself up to them, and it's just between you and them, and admit your fault. It's always a good time to remember that if you're getting, for instance, for me it's being patient, not being patient, and remembering that that person is coming from me. You're lucky you're in classes, so sometimes I'll make my to-do really just to come to class, and you happen to be here, so it's perfect. Next step is to, they say you have to give equal airtime to rejoicing about the good things you're doing. We all made time to come here, whether online and in person. We arranged our life to listen to these teachings and try to put them into practice. So rejoice, about some of the nice things that you're doing, especially about this event. You can also add in if you saw somebody around you do something that was kind of cool. So it's another way to kind of rejoice. Oh, that was really nice. Next step is we want to ask for teachings. And so those come in two ways. One is asking for teachings throughout the day, that you're sensitive enough, I guess, to listen to and watch what's going on around you. Like the example of the wedding I saw. So you're asking, bless me that I can maybe learn from the world around me. And then the second part is like formal teachings. Please teach me to meditate. Please teach me to have a practice. Please teach me to understand Nangtong. Please teach me how to keep my book. Formal, the ACI study courses. And then you want to ask your teacher to stay with you. So teach me, and then please stay with me. Don't leave. So we don't have a lot of time, so we're just going to go straight to just spend a few minutes thinking about if you have a teacher, ask them to come stay with you and sit in front of you. And then personally, I always get a feeling. It's not necessarily a picture. And so I'll just tell you what I do. For me, they come inside me. They don't sit in front of me, actually. And so they actually moved inside me. And so I want you to spend the next few minutes seeing what it would feel like if that being, that kind of energy of that teacher could just sort of be part of you. Just allow yourself to feel what it would be like to have them be like you're a sponge, and you threw yourself in the water, and so now there's no difference between you and the water. I don't know how else to explain it, but just imagine that they're sort of inside of you, and see what that would feel like. If you don't have a teacher yet, try to see what it would feel like to have a future, that being who will come to you. By the way, if you're here at these classes, I highly doubt you don't have a teacher. We have an example here, Geshe Michael, so you can use him as your heart teacher if you would like, until you find the one that matches you perfectly. So spend the next few minutes trying to see what it would feel like for them to be inside of you. The line between you and them kind of erases. then ask them to just stay with you. And imagine like a light inside your chest, and then send that out into the world. You can send it through the room, onto the building here. There's all these it's great, all these kids and people using this space. So imagine it goes out to them and heads out towards Scottsdale and Arizona. So I imagine it goes through the whole globe. And then the globe is filled with like a ball of light. And then in every single direction, you can imagine a light going out to every part of the universe. And just helping people. Maybe find a teacher. And then when you're ready, you can just sort of open your eyes and stretch if you need to. I'm sorry, but that's all the time we had. I could talk about this subject forever, but really, if I could say one thing, it would just be we have a teacher here, right? He's here. And so we have these next couple days too. And so when we come in a lot, I know people want to make offerings quite a bit. And Geshe Michael's time is quite limited these days. So this last part about bringing that teacher inside of you, each person here needs to become the teacher, is really what it comes down to. I don't know what else to say about it. Each person here has to become a teacher, the teacher, capital T-H-E. And so really try to listen for the next day and see, maybe your path will be a little bit different. Maybe there'll be some advice you need in order for that relationship to happen. But it's been a great joy of my life. I wish we had more time to talk, but I know there's other classes and stuff, so keep it up. I have such coach vibes, yeah.
Wow, that was wonderful meditation. This is the case when you expect one thing, but you get much more than you've expected. Thank you very much, dear teacher. Yes. So next we have our masterclass with Tim Lowenhout, Peter and Maria Myrtle. Please be here at 8:45, okay? And we also wanted to remind you that tomorrow morning 8, at the location shown in our Telegram chat, we will meet for the hike that will connect all the community, and we could also get magical signs and messages from teachers around us. Okay, waiting for the next class. See you there.
Martha, my dear, though I spend my days in conversation. please be good to me. Martha, my love, don't forget me. Martha, my dear.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words,